So with 2019 coming to an end, I thought I'd recap on the biggest failure of 2019, which is, of course, Kamala Harris. She started out so strong. Everyone thought she was like the next Obama, super progressive. Like, oh my God, I'm so progressive. Blah blah blah. I'm a young black woman. I'm coming to bring change and bring a new face, be the first woman president. Um, Although it was all just surface level nonsense because she was really just a corporate Democrat pretending to be like Bernie Sanders, which is pretty much what the rest of them have been doing. So yeah, she starts out super strong. She was, I think, at like 5% in the polls before the first debate. And then, yeah, everyone's like, she has this massive rally right when she launches her campaign with like something like, I don't know, millions of people. I don't know how many millions of people there were there, but there were millions of people. It was a big rally. It was, the media was, of course, like drooling over it and like, being like, yes, Kamala, yes, like trying to like prop her up as hard as they could. And it was working for a little bit because she appeared to be pretty progressive. And she even said she supported Medicare for all and all this stuff that just ended up being nonsense. And it was just her lying to the public. So fast forward to the first debate. You got Kamala, Joe Biden, Bernie, a bunch of other irrelevant people there. And Kamala goes after Joe Biden. And she was really on her game during this debate. When she went after Joe Biden, she like criticized him for working with segregationists back in the day and trying to oppose busing segregation back in the day. So it was, yeah, it did not look good for Biden. And like she had her talking points ready. She was like super sharp. She would interject at just the right moment. It was amazing. Everyone was like, even I was like, holy shit, like that was a fucking phenomenal performance. But yeah, she has an amazing first night. You thought Joe Biden was done, and you thought that his career was over after that. You thought that it was like, okay, yeah, he's not going back for that one because when she criticized him, man, did it land. It really landed. And come to find out, it was all pre-planned. Like her campaign was selling like shirts about the line, like, trying to make it, and they already had the shirts like ready beforehand. So it was just so obviously like just her practicing that in the mirror for like hours before the debate and like being like, oh my God, like this is going to be so amazing, which it seemed amazing, but it was all just pre-planned nonsense, which she actually has done worse stuff in the past. Well, I don't know. She's done a lot of really fucked up shit. They've both done terrible things. I don't know if one is worse than the other, but yeah, so after that she got this huge bump in the polls. It was like, fuck, I don't know, 10 points or something. She was up at like 15% at one point. Fast forward to the second debate. This is when shit really hit the fan for Kamala. You got Tulsi Gabbard on the stage with her, and Tulsi Gabbard brings a list of all the terrible things in Kamala's record and just reads off the list. And Kamala never recovered from it. So Tulsi goes like, Kamala Harris was a prosecutor in California, and she always would brag about her record as a prosecutor and said that she was going to be like a prosecutor president and all this shit. And then Tulsi goes out and she's like, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm really concerned about this record. And she's like, there's too many examples to cite, but she's like, she put a fuck ton of people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she had ever smoked marijuana and said that she had. And then she's like, she blocked evidence from a dude on death row that would have freed an innocent man from death row because she wanted to use him as cheap labor for the state of California. So just really horrible stuff in her record. And then Kamala just, oh my God, it was so glorious to watch because Kamala just stood there like with that like look of like just shame and embarrassment on her face and like shaking her head like, oh, I didn't do that, when it's like obvious, like the shit that Joe Biden does when he talks, where Bernie's like, you voted for the war in Iraq, Joe, and then Joe Biden goes like, huh, or like shakes his head or something. Just like really awkward, embarrassing reaction or response because there's no way to defend the shit in their records. There's really no way to defend the shit Kamala did. It's really, her record is atrocious, and she's just such a corporate Democrat. Like she's been playing this like I'm this fake like I'm gonna be like the next I'm gonna try to coast off of Bernie Sanders' popularity by like pretending I'm like Bernie Sanders, but it was all a charade. Like she's like I said earlier, she said she supported Medicare for all, releases her healthcare plan, and it's just the most like right wing corporate quarter measure healthcare plan that would really just maintain the status quo and do absolutely nothing because it had like a 10-year rollout period and then it kept private insurance in place. So think about that. There's a 10-year rollout period. You got so much time for, so say she serves 2 terms. It's still not completely rolled out, and then it's not going to be universal. So the Republicans, if they get in after that, would just automatically dismantle it and just destroy it as much as they possibly could. So it was just nonsense. But yeah, she was pretending to be like this super progressive, like I'm going to carry on what Bernie started in 2016 kind of, which is pretty much what all the corporate Democrats are doing because they know that the only way they can win is by pretending to be more progressive than they actually are, because that's where the energy and the passion in the party is. So yeah, she started out like that, and then Tulsi Gabbard, like that, just melted all of that away, and you just saw her just like, fuck. She looked like she knew, like, yeah, I'm kind of a fraud. Like, I've kind of done terrible things in my record. Like, I have some really fucked up things that I did. And Kamala's response was literally, oh my god, this is what drives me crazy. Whenever Tulsi Gabbard substantively criticizes another candidate, mainly corporate Democrats, yeah. I'm filming a video.
Oh, fuck, sit!
Yeah. Anytime Tulsi Gabbard accurately criticizes a corporate Democrat or criticizes anybody, they go right to their smear talking points. They point to the Assad meeting, which is just like, oh my god, yeah, sure. I don't really give a shit that she met with him, but like you could say like, okay, maybe it wasn't her it wasn't her position or her place to go meet with him. Like, sure, yeah, that's true, but like ultimately, aren't we supposed to be pursuing diplomacy with it? Like, what? Why is it bad to talk to your adversaries, even if they are terrible people? Like, I obviously hate Donald Trump. Like, I think he's a fucking terrible president and an idiot. But I had no problem with him meeting with Kim Jong-un because, like, what's the alternative? Escalating towards nuclear war? Like, obviously, we're supposed to talk to our adversaries. But yeah, they go straight to that smear, and that's what Kamala did. Oh my god, it was also glorious. Afterwards, after that debate, she's getting interviewed by Anderson Cooper on CNN, and Anderson fucking makes her watch the clip of her getting utterly embarrassed. He makes her watch the clip, like on a screen in front of her. It has like there's like 2 little boxes on the screen, the TV screen. It's like Kamala's like face of her watching it in one, and then you got the clip of her campaign being ended in the other one, and just watching her reaction to it, and she's like trying as hard as she can to have like a straight face and like no reaction. But afterwards, Anderson was like, "What do you have to say about that?" It was so funny. She goes right to the Assad. She goes, it doesn't really mean anything because it's coming from an Assad apologist." It's like, dude, you gotta come up with something better than that. Like, you're just swatting away everything Anderson just asked about your record. He's like, so like, what do you have to say about your record? And he just goes, well, it doesn't mean anything coming from an Assad. She says, it doesn't mean anything coming from an Assad apologist. And then that was also when she said the top tier line. She's like, I'm a top tier candidate. She's like, well, this is going to sound immodest. Guys, this is going to sound immodest, but come on. Like, I'm obviously like a top tier candidate here, and it doesn't really mean much that's coming from an Assad apologist like Tulsi Gabbard. And Anderson was like, oh, yeah, because the CNN is totally on board with all that shit. They fucking smear Tulsi. Like Chris Cuomo, there was this interview with Chris Cuomo, and he was shitting all over Tulsi and right to her face. Like, they'll tell her that they're going to have her on to, like, talk about, like, a real issue, like a real policy issue, or, like, something relevant happening in American politics. And then they always just flip it right back on the Assad thing. They're like, oh, Tulsi Gabbard, come on, here, let's talk about this. So, why did you meet with Bashar al-Assad? Why would you meet with a murderous dictator like that? They do it every single time. But, yeah, Anderson Cooper obviously was just like, yeah, sure. Yeah, Assad apologist, I guess it doesn't mean anything. And then So after that, you look at the RCP polling average. It is hilarious to see her get this like huge fucking surge at the beginning. She goes up, she I even thought she would be like a real contender. I was like, okay, like this is actually kind of scary because she's like a new, young, exciting black woman, like appears to be progressive, like was saying the right things, even though we knew she was a corporate Democrat. But she face planted. She literally went from being one of the top contenders to petering off to about 3% in the polls. And it was like, Kamala, you got what you deserved. I'm sorry, that was embarrassing. Like, you got what you deserved, but dude, like, that's embarrassing. I'm surprised that it was that easy to just just not. She was like a fucking like paper, like if she was like a scarecrow in the wind or something like that, just easily getting fucking knocked over by the slightest like, you know. So yeah, she just face planted, and it was so glorious to watch because you saw her get more and more desperate after that point. So she had that so the first debate performance, amazing, gets this huge bump in the polls. She's like on the right track. Second debate, face plants, completely utterly face plants in the debate. Embarrasses herself, has no response, goes straight to the Assad smear. People saw right through it at that moment. They're like, she face plants, goes to fucking 3% in the polls. And it was like so fast. It was like the graph looked like this, and then it was like, woo, and it was just straight down. And then you saw after that every single debate, you saw Kamala Harris get more and more desperate, which was so hilarious to watch because there was this one. I think it was the third or fourth debate. You had Kamala Harris try to attack Elizabeth Warren. I think it was when Elizabeth Warren was like the front runner now. She's also now starting to face plant as well. But it was right when Elizabeth Warren was like peaking at her top, and Kamala Harris is like, Senator Warren, I'm so surprised that you weren't with me in calling to ban President Trump's Twitter because, oh my god, it's so cringeworthy to even have to explain, but to like say it, Kamala Harris like was trying to like make herself known again and like get the media to focus on her by saying that she wanted to ban Donald Trump from Twitter, which is like, oh my god, these people have no idea what they're doing. They think that like imagine Kamala's like advisors being like, okay, Kamala, like it's not looking good in the polls. Like you got to do something. You got to get like the spotlight back on you. You got to get people on your side. Oh, I know. Donald Trump is bad. People don't like Donald Trump. But so we should ban him from Twitter. That'll be like, oh my god, like you're so anti-Trump, like you're so progressive, like you don't like Donald Trump. Which in reality, that is so like sad if they think that's a legitimate like line of attack to say that, oh, I don't like what he says, like he should be banned from Twitter. Like, who is that appealing to, Kamala? And like think about her advisors like backstage like being like, oh my god, like a bunch of like just super rich like Democratic Party insiders sitting around being like, Kamala, like this is an amazing idea, like this is gonna like give you the bump you need. Like it was so hilarious and so cringeworthy and honestly just embarrassing. But yeah, it was like funny, but at the same time it was also just like so like, okay, you need to drop out. You need to drop out, Kamala. If that's what you're going with, if you're that desperate and you think that's like a good plan or debate strategy to go after Elizabeth Warren with, I'm sorry, but you don't belong here. We hate you. You're a joke, and you have clearly just been putting on a charade this entire time, and you have no business being our president, so you should please drop out. And of course, Elizabeth Warren was just like, she was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, she was like, Elizabeth Warren was like, it seemed like she like didn't even know how to respond because it was so stupid. Like, it was like, holy shit. Is that really what you're resorting to because you're so desperate for support? So yeah, and then after that, she started like firing her staff members and stuff, and then sure enough, it was a few weeks ago, Kamala Harris makes this embarrassing video and goes, guys, I'm not a billionaire, so and I don't have the funds to continue my campaign, so I'm gonna have to drop out. And everyone's like, oh, thank god, like good riddance, because she was getting so irritating in every debate. She was like arrogantly laughing and condescendingly laughing at everything. Like, it would be like Andrew Yang would say something, or like Joe Biden would say something stupid, which obviously, yeah, was hilarious, and like we're all laughing too, but she would just keep laughing and laugh into the microphone and be like, like, you know, that laugh she would do. So, yeah, it was like, after, at that point, it was like, we hate you. Right after she said she was a top tier candidate and face plants like that. That was a really stupid strategy. Right after you know you just got destroyed, to turn around and say, I'm a top tier candidate. It's like, that's gonna flip on you so easily. But yeah, she would condescendingly and arrogantly laugh at all the other candidates because she viewed them as like not serious. And it was funny because in the debate where Andrew Yang said he was going to give the freedom dividend of $1,000 a month to 10 American families that donated to his campaign, after he said that, and it was just like, oh, that's cool. Like, it wasn't funny. It really wasn't funny. It was just like, cool. Like, UBI for, like, that's interesting. That's unique. Like, UBI, you donate the money to a campaign, you get something in return. Like, you get the UBI in return. It's like, that's what our government should be like. Like, you pay the government, you get shit in return. Because now we pay our government, we get dick in return. We get absolutely nothing in return. Our government literally looks at us and says, go fuck yourself. After we pay them, they turn around and blow 60% of our money on the military and give us almost nothing except for, like, these are good programs, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Those are good programs and all that, but other than that, we get nothing. We get absolutely nothing. We don't even have healthcare for everybody. But sorry, I went off topic a little bit there. But yeah, it was like a cool idea. And then Kamala just condescendingly laughs into the just into the microphone, like she got so close like this, and she was like for like super long. And it was just like, we hate you. And that's when we knew it was over. Actually, we knew it was over as soon as Tulsi did that embarrassing attack. But yeah, I'm glad she's gone. Biggest failure of 2019. I really honestly don't think she should be in charge, like leading anybody. So I really think she should not be a senator either. I really think she should publicly come out and apologize for her record and be like, I am so sorry. I can't believe I did that to these people. Like, I'm stepping down, because you can't excuse the stuff that she did in her record, and I'm so glad it didn't work out for her.